Hi, welcome to The Pursuit of Truth. It is the 21st of August 2018. Two things. First, coincidence or is it cosmic consciousness? Collective consciousness, I guess. Yesterday I was walking and I noticed the berries, blackberries, red berries in the trees. And I was talking to my wife saying that, how funny it is that when I look at those, I'm thinking, oh, they might not be clean, or I can't eat them from there. They're free. You could just take them, but I have a negative feeling towards them, as if, oh, they haven't been sprayed with pesticides, so there might be bugs inside, or, you don't know which ones to eat. And yet, if you go to Tesco's, you buy the exact same thing. They do grow on trees. They're exactly the same. They're probably actually worse for you because, like I say, they're sprayed with all sorts of chemicals that are probably not really necessary. You could probably just check which ones you have holes where insects have been in there. But it's just weird how we're trained, because we're so used to, it's I was saying to her, like, if there was an apple tree and you offered someone an apple off an apple tree, they probably wouldn't want to eat it because they think it's not going to taste as nice, it's not as good. But it is a bloody tree with an apple on it. It's exactly the same as the tree. The apple is exactly the same as the one that's packaged and given to you. So we don't trust actual nature, but we will trust, like synthetically, as it were, where someone else has done whatever we don't even see. It's very strange how we are programmed, or how we adapt to the way we're living, and then we stop being part of nature, as it were. Yes, and the thing is that I was listening to just now Jamie Brown on YouTube, and he was talking to Des Sheeps and Neeps, and he actually talked about the exact same thing, and I was thinking, wow, that's weird. No, is it because we have a collective consciousness? Because it's not the first time I've noticed that. Or is it just that we both walk past berries and that's why it came into our heads? But it's weird, no? The other thing I wanted to mention was I was watching Subtle Infinities. He's still doing the Instagram compilations. It was number 4 and 5. I actually watched them out of order, and my goodness, they are so emotional, and they're worth watching because they're very educational, because lots of different subjects. It has about flat earth, it has about truth, it has about racism, all sorts of things. But it really got to me and shocked me by the amount of stuff on there to do with racism, and I think it's just taken from Instagram. But what it did illustrate to me is how someone can find all these clips showing, incidents, examples, proofs of racism, of how people are treated differently. And I know that's the word that's used for it, but we're all human, we're all actually the same. Is we're attacking each other, and we're giving ourselves excuses for doing it. But the thing is, what I mean is, like, if you didn't see this stuff, you wouldn't know. Everyone knows racism goes on, but what I mean is, you wouldn't know how prevalent it was. When some people say, oh, there's so much racism, and you think, oh, no, I don't see very much. But that's the thing, is you only see whatever you see. But you can't ever see everything. That's like God's province, isn't it? But you know what I'm trying to say? That we are limited, and that's what it made me think about, that we're limited by what we experience, what we see with our own eyes, the people that we're around. You could live in a place where there's no racism, and you would think that there's no racism. You would know there's bits, but you wouldn't know how bad it is until someone shows you. And these clips that Subtle Infinity is finding is probably the 1% of, because not everyone's going to get up a camera and video it or detail it. But it really illustrated to me the fact that we're very much blind to things, because we have media, we have television companies all around the world But they're not putting any of this stuff on there. Why is that? Why do they put, you know, you could say, oh no, they've got more important news. More important news? You know, but there's lots of puff pieces you always see on these shows. You know, a dog up a tree and a fireman had to go and get it. Well, that sounds so stereotypical, but I'm sure that story does actually get out on the news sometimes. But so why isn't this stuff constantly on there? Do you think what effect it would have if all around the world we were shown these types of things? You know, that all this stuff. Do you think then people might change? I don't know. I would hope they would. I suppose the thing is the people that are doing the bad things are never. It doesn't matter how much you tell them that they're wrong or that this isn't the right way. But I just wonder. I mean, I was thinking that, you know, if we had our own television company, the thing is that we'd get abused, and the same thing would happen, because a lot of these things, they may have started off as good, and over the time they've been co-opted and changed because people get greedy and selfish. But just I suppose YouTube or Instagram is already doing that in the facility that it's giving everyone the ability to put all this stuff on. But the thing is, it's different. It's not the same as television, because with YouTube and Instagram you pick. You know, it depends who your friends are, depends what's recommended to you, it depends how you search. You know, it's not like television where everyone gets to watch the same thing. Like indoctrination, really, isn't it? You know, if we all turn on the 9 o'clock news, wherever we are in the world, generally, I'm sure at least one or two stories will be exactly the same, no matter where you are. There will be other regional things. You know, maybe you could limit that to, you know, like Africa, Western Europe, and Asia being like, you know, like that type of thing. But you know, so it's different. If it was a television company and they had these things, maybe that will happen in the future as they realise that people are now watching more digital, more YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, that they will have to incorporate into their mainstream media. But yeah, it just reminded me that the limitations that we have, the many limitations that we have, and that we don't really notice that all the things that are going on around us at this time that we're unaware of, and that even when we do know them, not the powerlessness, but the fact that it will continue tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and then decades and millennia. Why is it like that? Why are we like that? Is it because we're individuals? Or is it because the collective is not good enough? It's not strong enough, or they don't care? I mean, it's probably that, isn't it? Because do they not see these things? You know, the people with power, the people with money, the people that actually have the job to, you know, that we've elected, you know, in this system that we live in. You know, that they're the ones who are meant to, you know, govern and meant to guide, etc. I mean, that system obviously doesn't work because they don't give a shit. They're not watching these things and thinking, oh my goodness, look at the world we live in. Look how terrible we are as a species to each other. Let's do something about this. Is there something we could do about it? Surely if we illustrate it, maybe we can make some change. Maybe I'm too naive, or not naive, I guess the word is. I'm too optimistic about our species. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd share that. Check them out. They're Subtle Infinity is on YouTube, and it's I think it's called Instagram Compilation or something like that. I was watching number 4, number 5. Obviously, there's 1, 2, and 3 before that. Don't need to say that really, but yeah, they're really quite hard hitting and quite emotional. And after watching them, you do feel very depressed about our species. Yeah, anyway, take care, take it easy. God bless and peace.